strengthen the prediction by NIMET that there will be flooding. There will be flooding again. This is something we are used to. My only prayer is that we don't want to have the 2012 experience. The 2012 experience was a very bad one, very bad one. In the process, we lost so many properties, and lives were also lost too. So I like to say that by the latest prediction, flooding is inevitable as it stands today. As to what government will be doing, government is very proactive, very, very proactive. And that's because this is what we are used to. Only yesterday, a committee was inaugurated. The terms of reference for the committee is to see what the state can do to mitigate the effects of flooding should it happen. Of course, we know it will happen. That's number one. Number two, we're also making arrangements to relocate the people that are living along the coastal line. People that are living in areas that will be affected almost immediately following the rise on the waters in the river Niger. So we are going to be talking to them. Government is also trying to identify camps where these persons will be relocated to. Don't forget that when you live in a place this is a place these people have been living for years. Some of them have been living there since birth. So it takes a whole lot to convince them to move. They will tell you that this is their ancestral home. Their forefather, their grandfather were all buried in that same place. So when you're asking them to relocate ordinarily, it's difficult for these people to relocate. The two questions that comes to mind is, if you're asking them to relocate, to where in particular? So government is going to make arrangement for that. We are setting up camp immediately. Following our meeting yesterday, the Ministry of Environment was directed that as soon as those camps are identified and set up, we are going to move in to do fumigation almost immediately. We are going to go into fumigation, at least to make the place habitable and safe for the people. Now, but the next thing is to convince the people to leave. Following our effort and attempt to make them move, this is what you hear from them. We go nowhere. Our team was in Oko, and the question is to where? This is our father's place. Our fathers were buried here. Why are you taking us so? It takes a whole lot of psychological, tilting. You must tailor their psychological well-being for them to accept that they are going to move. But we are doing strategic engagement. We are engaging the people. You need to tell them they must be aware. Until they appreciate the danger of not living, they are not ready to move. So government, the committee that was set up yesterday, we're going to be doing a lot of talking. We'll relocate the people, and when we eventually relocate them, we want to relocate them and give them a better place, a better deal. At least that alone will motivate them to move. Now, if we're also relocating them, we are taking them, normally it's government premises. We want to use schools. School will be resuming shortly. Now, the schools that will be identified as IDP camp, the student there, where will you relocate them to? So it takes a whole lot of arrangement. So we are putting in what I call a holistic arrangement to cater for the relocation of school and the relocation of the people. While we do everything possible to mitigate the effect of flooding on the people. Now, when they come, will you just dump them there? Some of them will be subjected to some kind of training. Some of them were going to school in the environment they are going to come from now. So we must also create school or an environment of learning for these people. So government is doing a lot. Aside from the fact that we'll be able to, government will also take some measure to clear our drains. The drains and our natural waterway that has been blocked, we'll open them up so that when the water comes from the river, we'll find a way to take the water back to the river. So that circle must be complete. Until that circle is complete, you can be sure that the water is going to remain with us longer than you can imagine. So government is very proactive. We are doing that. For that, in all this, aside from rise in the water level of the river, a lot of the flooding that we experience is as a result of our poor attitude to the environment. When you creating a very bad situation. You are creating an environment that will bring about flooding tomorrow. If you block the drain, as I said earlier in the day, one poor attitude towards the environment here goes around and comes around to hurt you. That's basically the situation. If you display a bad or what I call poor attitude towards the environment here, I give you an example. For instance, the Yabi River has a natural course across the Igbuzo Road, but if you get there now on the way to Igbuzo, the right hand side, all the houses there, they are already submerged, completely submerged. Why? On the left hand side, where we are supposed to have our discharge, property developers have built to block the natural waterway, so the water does not go forward, it comes back. So all the houses to the right along the Igbuzo Road, the Yabi area, all completely submerged. This is not natural now. This is as a result of our poor attitude towards the environment. So going around, I have observed that we have a very poor attitude towards the environment, and that is what occasion the poor environment we have. That is what occasion the flooding, pocket of flooding that you have around in the state. Now, as I said, Nigeria is now certified as the headquarter of poverty. We're almost becoming the headquarter of open defecation. People defecate anyhow. I went on inspection, I and the PS and some members of staff. We couldn't go further because of open defecation. Now, if you do that, natural rain will fall. During rainfalls, the water comes back, wash back the feces back into the river. Now, the smaller community that live along the coastal line depend on the water, depend on the river for their livelihood, to wash the cassava, to wash the products that they get from their farm. They wash, aside from their cooking, the product is already contaminated. The product comes back to the market. You who is the elite, you go to the market to buy. What happened somewhere on the environment has come back to now hurt you. So this is my position. Until we are ready to take ownership of our environment, all the huge resources that is committed into the environment, we make little or no impact. We make little or no impact. Now, if you take ownership of your environment, you don't need to be told before you make the environment clean. A cleaner environment is a safer environment. A safer environment is a healthier environment and becomes a stronger environment. Now, the years we want to diversify, the problem we have is that oil has been our mainstay since 1966 or so, has been our mainstay. But going forward, we must begin to look at other areas of generating revenue to state government. And if we must do that, we'll begin to look at agriculture. Agriculture can only thrive on a better environment. We begin to look at tourism. Tourism can only do well on a cleaner environment. We begin to look at foreign direct investment. The impression an investor gets when he enters a society is the impression he gets from the environment. So once the environment is not clean, it's not safer, it's not healthier, no investor wants to risk his life because he wants to make money. No, it won't happen. So environment has a whole lot to play if we must diversify the economy as it stands today. And to be able to do that, we must begin to change our orientation towards the environment. We must begin to take ownership of the environment, possess the environment, make it work for us. We need the environment to do a lot of things, a lot of things. As you enter this office now, if you saw on your way in the office where you have my secretary, the reception, the place is very dirty, I would have created a wrong impression. And that will inform the kind of question you'll be asking me here now. Because they say first impression goes deeper in your mind than what you'll be told eventually. So I feel very strongly, one of the things we must do going forward is to do what I call strategic engagement. We are going to be meeting with all stakeholders. Now, if you were in another clime, for instance, if you were in the US or in the UK, the environment is basically clean. You hardly see all of this time that I've been traveling abroad. I can't remember when I saw somebody cleaning the environment. I don't know when they do that, but yet the environment is very clean. What is responsible for that? Everyone has taken ownership of the environment. They have that consciousness that a cleaner environment speaks volume of the people. So you don't dump your wastes anyhow. By my observation, I have also discovered that going around, don't forget that we have PSPs, people who help us to manage our wastes. They help us to manage our wastes. They are also part of the society too. The nature of every black man in the society, they also have their own fair share. They also have their own fair share too. So they will be limited to by their own character. They will be limited by what they are used to in the society. Do you understand? So it's also limiting their efficiency in terms of helping us to pick our ways. So what are we going to do now? Only yesterday I had a meeting with a representative of Coca-Cola, Nigeria Brewery Company, right? They are planning to set up a hub for recycling of our plastic waste. And this is how it's going to work. They are going to employ, once the hub is a pilot scheme, we'll do it here and maybe replicate it in each of the senatorial districts. Once the one we are doing here works, we'll replicate. Now, how is it going to work? Once the machine is installed, they will employ 200 young men. What will these 200 young men do? They will be going around to pick up plastic waste. They pick up the bottles, plastic bottles, sachet paper. This sachet, pure water, here we call it pure water. They will pick, depending on the amount they are able to gather, they bring it back to the company. It will be put on a scale. They weigh, whatever it weighs, you will be paid. They'll pay you. Now we would have achieved two things. Environment will be clean, and the guy will also be making money. Now they're also going to work in the first instance 1,000 household. Now the 1,000 household, initially they will be waiting for these pickers to come to their home to pick up this waste. Like I said, they will be making money. The company will not pay them. The amount of waste, plastic waste you're able to gather, that's what you'll be paid for. Now guys will be happy that as they pick the waste, the environment will be clean and they'll be making money. There's another aspect to it. Now, a time will come, the 1,000 household, if for any reason they are not able to wait for the pickers, they will have access to the hub. They go there and take direct. Now the company will do proper profiling. Your household will be registered, and there will be an identification number for each household. There will be a card. If you bring your waste, it will be recorded against your name. When it gets to a stage, the company, Coca-Cola, they are ready to give you plasma TV, depending on the amount of your turn in. They will give you gift. So that will encourage household owners and encourage the pickers. I see a situation where there will be a competition. A time will come, because the gift will motivate the householders. They will not wait for the pickers. Now the house picker will be sneaking into people's house to pick waste. Now once we have created that competition, in no time, the society will be devoid of plastic waste. The most dangerous waste that blocks our drain mostly are plastic products. The point I'm making is that at 28 we have come of age. At 28 we have come fully of age. But the journey so far has been a wonderful experience. I was on air. I was in a radio program this morning, and I made the point that it's been a wonderful experience, if you ask me. From the military era to Phyllis Ibru, who was the first civilian governor of the state. After Phyllis Ibru, there was a little truncation of democratic experience. And then to 1999, His Excellency Chief James Onanefe Ibori. The infrastructural development of the state then was something we should look back and applaud Ibori for. For the first time, there was a bridge to Bomadi. For the first time. And that is something people in that environment will continue to celebrate. The Jaws of Delta, they continue to celebrate it. For the first time, there was a bridge to Bomadi. Something that never happened before. The military never thought of it. You know, there's a whole world of difference, a generational difference between democracy and the military rule. Now the Olomu Bridge, the people in that community did their best. The Olomu Bridge was to an extent that it became a common adage. Agbada Olomu, Ejeruo, that was what we were used to. Community effort could not produce the bridge, but Ibori did. The establishment of 4 higher institutions, same time. The Polytechnic in Agwashuku, Ozoro, Otefe, and the College of Education in Mosoka. Do I want to mention the fact that during the Boris days, all of our primary school had perimeter fence round. Some of the school had no bench or chair, if you like. Our children were sitting on the floor. There were real massive turnaround in the educational sector. I don't want to also mention the fact that roads were built almost everywhere. Okay, let's not say too much on the Ibori administration. Even the Duan's own too did this bit. Now let's speak about the current administration. There's something I have seen about Okowa. He has a strong political will. Today is called the road master. Don't forget that the resources that were accrued to the state in Ibori's days and Odua's days and what we have now, it's not the same. We had some funds. Then oil per barrel was almost $100 and something. But as I speak today now, I'm not sure it's more than $70. Even when Okowa started, it got down to $20. It was that bad. It was that bad. That's why most governors couldn't pay salary. But this governor paid salary. He was paying as and when due. Paid. I think we should applaud him. And if the man is able to manage the very lean resources that is coming to the state, we have roads. I also know too, of course you are aware that there is a new Ministry of Technical Education. There will be a technical college built in almost every local government where it is possible. Where it is possible. Government will build a technical college. And this should be the in thing now. This should be the trending thing now. Let's begin to look at technical education. Won't we begin to do something that will make our youths self-dependent? We want to create wealth. And to be able to create wealth, you create that environment for private initiative to thrive. You create that environment, you create the opportunity for the young people to be fully equipped for tomorrow. You know, young people will say, we are the leaders of tomorrow. Now,